Okay, so you're looking at making the move to Florida or here in Central Florida, and you're just like, look, I want to buy a house. I want to get involved in this market, and I know I'm coming there. It's just like, I don't know if I want to get involved in this crazy market. Well, if you want to know everything there is that you can know about this current market, and if you even should worth buying a house, or if you just go straight to renting, and I'm going to cover that in this video, so let's go. What's up, everyone? My name is Cameron Hodge, coming at you from eXp Realty here in Orlando, Florida. On this channel, I talk about everything about living, eating, moving, and being in here in Orlando, and I absolutely love it. But we are always getting reach outs days, nights, weekends from people looking to make the move to Florida and enjoy this amazing place that we call home, and I absolutely love it. So if that's you, give us a call, text, email, whatever you have to do. We have your back when moving to Orlando, Florida. So you know you may come to Florida in general or Central Florida, and you're like, look, is it even worth buying a house and getting involved in this market? And when's it going to cool down? Look, no one has a crystal ball, but I'm going to cover some of the big things about the market here on this video. So look, it's no doubt, and we've all seen the news, that the market's hot. And you know, if the news will tell you everyone's moving to Florida, it's crazy hot. It's so hard to get into a home, or if there's any good homes on the market, they're just getting taken immediately. And look, I completely get it, especially like it's already stressful enough making the move here, and that on top of that, you got a hot market to add onto it. Well, when you look at the market and you're like, look, is it going to cool down? Like, there's a lot of things to go about it. So, you know, a lot of times it's like, well, first, the market is what it is. So in the short term, especially if you're moving here, you know, in the last couple months or by the end of the year, you're like, all right, I know the market's hot. I want to get involved. I really want to own a house. I do not want to rent. Totally get it. Home ownership is one of those great things we enjoy here in America. Well, you know, a lot of times for our clients, what we'll do is we look off market, right? So a lot of times when you're looking for homes, what's called like on market, which is when you look on Zillow, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see all the homes that are for sale. You know, that's what we consider on market. And a lot of times there's going to be crazy competition. Obviously, it depends by city, suburb. Like some are going to be more competitive than others. You know, and usually the general rule of thumb is once you get farther away from like a central metro area, it starts to cool down a little bit. But at the same time, if you're looking to get closer to the central city areas, or maybe even the really hot suburbs, then you're looking off market's a possibility. And sometimes having a team in place that can help you do that and have that plan is what matters. I mean, we helped a client here recently, right? So you know, they had enough to qualify, but they're not, you know, they're not money bags. They're not crazy, you know, they don't have cash flowing out of their ears to buy a home, you know, but they had the ability to afford and get into a home at market value. Well, obviously, we were getting beat out constantly on the market, and what we did is we were able to find a home off market, a seller who maybe couldn't pay the full price for a commission, but they were able to, you know, they wanted to get someone to buy their house, and they weren't having any luck selling it on their own. So we were able to make the connection, we were able to solve the needs of both parties and get a home under contract. And not only did we close on the home, it actually was about $5,000 under value. And those stories exist every single day. And it's like, you know, if you're looking at this market from a nutshell, you're like, okay, I want to get involved now. Then, you know, I don't want to wait for it to cool down. That's jumping into it now. Now, if you're someone who's like, look, I am looking, you know, 12 months out when it comes to moving to the state, is the market going to cool down? Look, so the first thing to look at is like, you know, how many homes are available compared to buyers. Like, you know, anyone, it's easy to understand supply and demand. When you have very little of something that everyone wants, it's going to cause the price to go up. Now, an interesting point at the time of recording this video is interest rates are now well over 4% for a 30-year fixed. And obviously, I'm not going to get too deep into what the accurate interest rate is, but like you can be looking at around like 4.5%. Some of you can buy that down. There's a lot of things you can do. Possibly you can get a lower rate, but you know, let's just use that as a general rule of thumb right now. And you know, what's interesting, a lot of people say it's like, well, not only are home prices still going up, now interest rates are going to go increase. Like, this is insane. Like, when's this chaos going to end? No one really knows. I'm going to tell you that right now. But one thing that's interesting is usually when interest rates go up, eventually you start to see home prices stall or possibly decrease. What's very interesting in this time that we live in, it's just a weird time in general. right? Because lending practices, in order to get a loan, like if you ever gotten a home loan before, like it's a complicated process. Like you have to give a lot of information. They do a full gamut background check on you as a buyer. And it's very interesting to see, how like 08, 07, when, we had that last major crash, is like there were a lot of shady practices going on in the bank world, and that kind of added to the fuel that was the crash that we experienced back then. And looking at the market now, lending practices are very tight and they're very particular about who gets that, and they fixed a lot of those issues that we had back then. So what's interesting to see is that now as a buyer, like not only are you fighting against like a lot of homes competitively, now interest rates are looking at getting up. And one thing I tell people is that if you are moving in a regular time frame, like very shortly, it's still beneficial to get into a home. Mainly because like you look at like, let's say Central Florida, where I'm located right now in Orlando, it's a lot of people are very interested in this area. And I've been, coming from Southern California, I can tell you that it feels like a market that was like, a younger San Diego compared to what it is now, which is crazy packed and crowded, and home prices are insane over there. So while Florida, no one's saying it's going to become like that for sure. But it is very interesting to see that this is a great opportunity in an area, but really in Florida in general, whether you're looking at Miami, like Orlando, Tampa, like it is just an awesome place to get involved, and a state that's really only gaining popularity, especially with the freedoms that you enjoy here in the state compared to probably some areas that you're moving from. So really moving forward, it's hard to say how the market is going to go as we continue on. Like with interest rates, there's no doubt that they're probably going to continue to go up, especially with the chaos we have in the world right now. And I know you throw that on top of everything going on, what you may see is some buyers that are weaker start to fall off. So you may see competition drop on certain neighborhoods, especially when the price point starts to go up a little bit. Now, I will tell you, like on average, those that are coming from like high metropolitan areas, like in California, New York, like you're probably coming with a decent like income base behind you, and you may not see, major flux in this, but you may see a plateau in home prices eventually in time as interest rates start to go higher and higher, especially as like those buyers that were barely able to qualify start to drop off. But at the same time, like the demand still just isn't met. Now, there's a lot of construction going on, especially here in Central Florida, and in time we will start to have more inventory and more places for people to move into, and that'll kind of level out the playing field. And in time, once that inventory goes up, you will start to see home prices drop. But of course, as we all know, the chaos in the world right now, it's hard to say when that's going to happen. And what I always tell everyone is, when you look at, previous crashes and you look at it and you're like, okay, well, you look at like 07, 08 or the 2000, the dot-com bubble that happened there a little bit, is even when the market went down, home prices dropped, rents still went up. They may have plateaued for a small period of time. Sorry about that. See, you have kids at home and you work from home, you're going to understand sometimes you're doing stuff and things just fall apart. So my son came in the room, sorry about that. But going back, so is obviously this great opportunity in Florida, especially if you're looking at moving here. But like I was talking about before, like when you see markets start to drop, in the past, 2000, 07, rents plateaued for a period of time, but then they continued to increase. And it's been like that for a long time through several market crashes. And everyone's like, well, yeah, like home prices might drop, but interest rates go up. I mean, even the interest rates we have now are still like really low compared to the general last 100 years, right? Or so of, really tracking solid numbers. So yeah, you could wait for the market to crash, but like a good saying is like you're a crash and 7 years away from rock bottom. It doesn't mean it is 7 years away from rock bottom, but it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes time. And what's interesting is now like lending practices have never been more strict and solid when it comes to people looking to buy a home. And you mix that with everything, and it really just comes down to your individual needs. But I will tell you, at least if you're, when you buy now, like that interest rate's locked in. Like your payment's not going to increase. It's not going to, like the numbers you're looking at now are what you're going to pay. But when it comes to rent, like your landlord's going to check that up every year. And sure, like if you're not sure you want to stay in Florida and you're like, I just want to feel it out for 3-5 years, like sure, maybe it makes sense for you. But I can tell you that like I bought when I moved here. And I still recommend most people to at least consider it as an option, because like there's still great areas that expansion maybe hasn't moved into, but you're still near major amenities, and you can be able to get into that market, move in, get a home, be in a great neighborhood for your family, and not have to worry about your payment going up crazily. Like the only really fluctuating number might be insurance and taxes. You know, the two things, you know, Benjamin Franklin, like it's a guarantee, like you can't avoid taxes. They're going to be there. They're going to increase over time, but not as crazy as it when it comes to like buying and selling and moving on so much. So, and a lot of people also is like, if you buy that home down and you don't want to live here, potentially you could rent out your home. Like rents definitely have increased substantially since when COVID initially started in 2020. And, you know, it's just going to keep increasing, especially as people who have higher wages move into Central Florida and that cost of living just continues to go up. So is the market going to crash anytime soon? Look, most likely not. Like we're looking at a lot of things. There's not enough inventory yet. It's, you know, it's going up, but it's still not there. Now you might see start to, you know, plateauing in some areas as interest rates increase and a lot of buyers drop off. Or what's going to happen is like, let's say you're looking at sub 450 or even like between 300 to 400,000 price range, like you're going to probably have more competition because maybe a buyer that could qualify for 450 now has to slide down to 400 or less. And, you know, you just keep doing it with all the brackets, right? You just keep moving everyone down. They could barely qualify before. Now with higher interest rates and prices at least plateauing or slowly increasing, like you're going to see certain brackets, especially those lowest price points, get more and more competition. Or if you're looking at higher brackets, like maybe, you know, it depends on the area, but you might actually start to see a little bit of freedom and a lot of competition drop off from buyers that could barely afford it to begin with and they were at their max budget to where now you can shop slightly below your budget and have more or less competition on that area. It really depends on a case-by-case basis. But, you know, you look at those information, like it may be beneficial as a buyer, but I can tell you a lot of experts in this field, especially those doing it, you know, heck of a lot longer, who just look at these numbers day in and day out, really feel that we're going to see prices continue to increase. It's not going to be at 2020 levels. It's not going to be at 2021 levels, but you're going to see a slow increase in prices until that inventory situation is met, especially with supply chains being as crazy they are and whatever. But look, if you watch this far in the video, I can tell you that if you're already curious, like you just don't know if it's right for your situation, like reach out, give us a call, text, email, whatever you have to do. Like we are happy to have this conversation for you and be able to be your experts in the field that can give you that right frame of mind. Also, feel free to consider like, subscribe, so that way you can be notified every time we drop a new video. We are here to provide value and absolutely love it. Like, it's what I do every single day. I made mistakes when I made the move here, and I want to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes as well. Also, if you have any questions, like let me know in the comments below. Happy to just jump in there and be able to answer any major questions you have. I know in this time, this whole country and the world, like there's so much unknown, and even when you look at those who have lived before us and are older, like they agree, like this is just a really weird, crazy time to be in, and you want to make sure you have all the information possible to make the right decision for you and your family. So if you're looking at make the move to Central Florida, especially here in Orlando, like I'm here to help you. Even if you're looking at moving to Florida in general and you just want to reach out and you feel like you can get a good, you know, point of view when it comes to making that move, give us a call, text, you know, whatever you want to do. Like we're happy to have that conversation for you. And without that, I will see you in the next video.